Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapit Center for Online Learning. I am the faculty for this course, that is OMBAIML 303 and OMBBA 305, Performing Analytics with Python. So, learners, since this is the first session of Performing Analytics with Python, I'm going to discuss only the syllabus. What are the various contents? What are the various units of this subject, and what is the importance of each of these units, and wherever is necessary, I will explain some of the concepts in a brief manner. From the next session onwards, I'm going to start with the actual syllabus. Is it fine with everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Yes, sir.
So the first unit, that is Python Fundamentals for Data Analytics. So in this unit, we are going to cover the entire Python concepts. The basic concepts of Python will be covered in this first unit, that is Python Fundamentals for Analytics. So in order to perform the analytics using Python, especially, what are the skill set, what are the things, what are the concepts that we should know, so that we can use the Python to perform the analytics. Okay, so basically, what is analytics? Can anyone give me the concept or definition of analytics? What do you mean by analytics, or what is analytic process?
To analyze something or getting the required data or thing from the database.
Okay, anyone want to add into that?
What is the definition of analytics?
Analytics.
This is the definition of analytics. The systematic computing.
Yeah, systematic. So basically, when I say analytics, if you go into the standard definition of analytics, you will find that analytics is a science. Analytics is a science of applying statistical methods. Analytics is a science of applying statistical methods on the data sets. In order to extract the insights, in order to find the patterns, trends from the data set. And what is analytic process? Guys, what is analytic process? Can anyone give me the definition of analytics process or analytic process model that we are going to learn? Here I'm not talking about any particular model, but I'm talking about the analytic process. So basically, analytic process is a framework. Analytic process is a template which guides me throughout the analytic process. Means what? What are the stages? What are the different phases of data analytics? Isn't it? So what, from defining the business problem, that is the first phase of analytics, isn't it? Defining the business problem to finding out the solution to that business problem. So all these stages, all these things are going to be included in total analytic process. So first step is to define the business problem, isn't it? Second step is to gather Second step is to collect the data. Third step is to prepare the data. Fourth step is to create the model. Fifth step is to deploy the model and monitor. So all these are the different stages of analytic process. So it provides me the steps, it guides me the stages through which I can perform the analytics. So that we are going to learn basically in this subject, that is how to perform analytics with using Python. So definitely you will need to understand, you will need to have the skill sets of Python concepts. So if you know any of the languages like C, C++, Java, any computer languages, then learning the Python is not going to be difficult. It is going to be it will help you to understand, to grasp the Python very easily. So here, definitely we require the skill sets of Python. So that's why the first unit, as you can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So as you
Yes.
can see in the syllabus, the first unit, in the very first unit, the basic concepts of Python are going to be covered, like what are the Python data structures, what are the Python data types. Say, for example, Python data structure mainly consists of four data structures, that is list, set, tuple, and dictionary. These are the basic main data structures that you will find in Python as a programming language. So what is list, what is set, what is tuple, what is dictionary, how we can store the data by using list, by using set, by using dictionary, and by using tuples. What is the difference between these different data structures? Say, for example, if I have to define a list, what is a list? A list is an ordered collection of ordered collection of data items. It is an ordered collection of data items. What is a set? Again, set is an unordered set of collections. Means what? I can insert the data items, but the order of the database is not going to be preserved in case of set, but in case of list, it is an ordered list of collection. Like you store the values into the array, in the same way we can store the values, the data elements into the list. But the only thing that is the difference between the array and list is that in case of array, if I define the data type of my array as say integers, then only I can store integer values into that array. But in case of a list, I can store any data type. That is the main difference between, if you come from C, C++, Java array, then in that case, the data type of the array determines the elements to be inserted, to be stored into that particular array. But here, in case of list, we can store different or any kind of data into a list. But list, having said that, it is an ordered collection. Set is an unordered collection. In case of list, you can insert duplicate values, but in case of set, you cannot insert duplicate values. If you try to insert duplicate values, the system will automatically remove the duplicate values. So the set will have only the unique values. So that is the difference between set and list. Again, if you come to tuple, tuple is also an ordered collection of items, but the difference between tuple and list is that list is a mutable. Means what? If we can edit the data elements of a list, but we cannot edit, we cannot delete, we cannot modify the items of a tuple. So that's why tuple are immutable, whereas lists are mutable. So that is the main difference between list and tuple. What is a dictionary? A dictionary, if you want to store the data items in terms of keys and value, then I can use a dictionary. Say, for example, I'm inserting, say, name and its value. So name is my key and the value which I associate, say for example, name is equal to Sachin Tendulkar. So name is a key, whereas Sachin Tendulkar is its value. If I have to access the value, then I have to use its key. So in case of a dictionary, the values are stored in terms of pairs, that is key and value. So you can insert multiple pairs of keys and values separated by a comma. So we are going to learn how to define the list, how to define the set, how to define the dictionary, how to use the built-in functions on list, on tuples, on dictionary, how to process the data. So that we are going to cover in the first unit, that is Python fundamentals for data analytics. So even if you don't know about any programming languages, still we are going to cover from the basic of Python programming. And again, we are going to learn about the operators. Operators are operators will operate on the operands. So for example, the plus operator, the minus operator, the multiplication operator, the modulus operator, the bitwise operator. So all these operators are used to perform mathematical operations, logical operations, and relational operations on the operands. So we have binary operands, sorry, we have binary operators. For example, the plus operator, that is the addition operator, is called as a binary operator. Why? Because the binary operator requires two operands, two numbers. So the operator which requires a single a single operand is called as unary operator. The operator which requires two operands is called as binary operator. For example, the plus operator is called as a binary operator. For example, the unary minus is a requires single operand because it works on single operand. So that is why it's called as unary operator. We have a ternary operator. The ternary operator requires three operands to work with. So that's why they are called as ternary operators. And again, sometimes it is also called as conditional operators. So operators are very important when you are writing a program, when you are writing these statements in your program. Then we are going to learn about the concepts of event-driven programming. So what is event-driven programming? See that event-driven programming is a style of writing a program. There can be different types of writing a program, different styles. It can be process-oriented like C. C language is a process-oriented. It can be an object-oriented programming style like C++. It can be an event-driven programming like your Windows, any Windows programming are covers the event-driven programming. If you look at the difference between event-driven and process-oriented programming, in case of process-oriented programming, the execution flow of a program is fixed. So the program will execute in the sequence, in the manner in which the programmer has written the source code of that program. Isn't it? As a user, you cannot change the execution flow of a program which has been written by using a C language. And C language follows process-oriented programming style. But if you look at the event-driven programming, where the execution flow of a program is not fixed, it is entirely decided by the end user, isn't it? Take for example the registration form. In the registration form, there are different buttons. For example, insert, delete, modify, display, edit, exit. So all these are the buttons which are present in a registration form. So when you click on the exit button, what happens here? The application will be terminated. But if I click on the previous button, then what happens here? The previous record which has been stored in the database will be visible in my registration form. If I click on the insert button, then I will be allowed to insert a new record. So here you can see that the execution flow is not fixed. You can click on any button randomly. So depending on the event that you trigger, accordingly, the code which is associated with that button's click will get executed. Like I said that if you have clicked the previous button, then the code, the source code which is written for previous buttons event will get executed. So that is the main difference between event-driven programming and a process-driven programming. So here we are going to learn the concepts of event-driven programming as well. Then we learn about the local and global variables. What are the local and global variables? Variables are the one of the important building block of a programming or of a program rather. Variables are the memory locations which will hold a value which can be changed during the execution of a program. So a variable can be a local variable, it can be a global variable. A variable which is defined inside a block, inside a function is called as local variable, and a variable which is defined outside of all functions, they are called as global variables. Global variables are accessible to the entire program, but local variables are accessible only into that specific function or a block. So we are going to learn about how to define local variables and how to define global variables and what is the impact of local variable and global variable on the output, on the impact of my entire program. Then we are going to learn about the buttons and input fields, how to create buttons and how to enter the data, how to create the canvas, how to draw, how to draw a static drawing, the timers, the interactive drawing. So here basically we are learning about event-driven programming by using all these controls like drawing the shapes, different shapes, the timer application, how to use the timer application, how to make your application interactive. So all these are going to be learned in this very first unit. And as you can see that the content of very first unit is very large one, because since here we have tried to cover as many aspects of Python programming as possible. So that's why the length of this first unit is little bit long. And again, we are going to learn about the concepts of object-oriented programming as well. So here in Python, we have also used the concept of object-oriented programming like classes, like objects, like the inheritance. All these are the concepts of object-oriented programming. So in case of object-oriented programming, everything is considered as an object, isn't it? So in case of OOPS, the main emphasis is given to the data. In case of process-oriented, the main emphasis is given on to the process, how to get things done. That is the main focus of process-oriented programming style. But whereas the main focus of object-oriented programming is on securing the data, is on securing the data. Data is not accessible to all the functions of your program. It has been restricted. So more security is been given, is been considered in case of object-oriented programming language, and everything is considered as an object in case of OOPS programming language. Then we are going to learn about the exception handling. See that there are two types of errors that come up in your while when you are executing your program. One is called as compile time errors, and second one is a exceptions. Exceptions are also a kind of error. Okay. So when the errors which comes at compile time, they basically belong to syntactical errors. When you write the sentence inappropriately without using a proper grammar of that particular language, then in that case you will get the syntactical errors. And syntactical errors comes at compile time when your program is compiled. What do you mean by compilation, guys? Anyone knows about compilation? Yes. What do you mean by compilation?
Translated to the machine code.
Yes. Can you repeat?
The program is translated to machine code.
Yeah. So when your program, see that we are writing the program in a human readable language. If, say, for example, by using simple English, isn't it? We are writing the program by using simple English. Of course, we are following the grammar of that particular language, that is called as syntax. But the machine cannot understand the human readable language, isn't it? That is the main difficulty in understanding the human readable language. Then how the machine will execute your code if it is not understanding the English language, then how it could execute your code? So for that, it needs to be converted first into zeros and ones. Then only the machine can execute its code. Like I said, that the machine, when computers were invented, at that time, computers understand directly the language of zeros and ones, that is machine language. And till date also, machine can only understand directly the language of zeros and ones. So there is no difference in understanding level of the machine. It is because of the compilers, it is because of the interpreters that the machine can execute even the instructions which are written in a human language. But there we need compiler, we need the interpreters. So the compiler will convert, will transform the code which is written in an English language following any computer language syntax or grammar. It will convert that machine, so it will convert that human readable syntax instruction into machine language, that is zeros and ones. So here we are going to understand the how the machine is going to execute the instructions. Like I said that uh, in case of exception handling, there are uh, errors which comes out during the execution of your program. So when your program is executing, when your program is running, at that time, if some errors comes, that errors are called as exceptions, and exceptions comes at runtime. For example, class not found. For example, division by zero. For example, array out of bounds. These are types of exception errors, isn't it? They comes out only when your program is actually running. If you try to divide a number by zero, then it is not a syntactical error, isn't it? So it's an exception. An exception occurs at runtime. And if you don't handle the exception, what will be the scenario? What will happen? The machine will handle that exception and your program is abruptly exited if you don't handle the exception as a programmer. So if you want your program to execute smoothly, even if an exception arises, then you need to handle the exception. You need to give a proper treatment to that exception. So that's why we need to know about exception handling mechanism, how exceptions are handled and how they are treated, so that my program execution will go on smoothly. That is the main advantage of handling exceptions. We don't know what kind of exception that comes out, that will arises when your program is running, isn't it? But even if an exception arises, your program should be able to handle that exception, and it will continue execute your program. So that's why we need to understand exception handling mechanism. What are the keywords? What are the blocks which are used to handle the exception? That we are going to understand in exception handling section. Then we are going to learn about the implementation of user-defined modules and packages and file handling in Python as well. So, how to use the user-defined modules, the packages, and file handling. File handling means what? If you want to store the data permanently, then we have to store the data on either in a database or in a file. So, how to store your data in files? How to process, how to manipulate file handling, that we are going to learn in this unit as well. So this is about the unit 1, that is Python fundamentals for data analytics. This will enable you, this will prepare you the skills which are required in the next unit in order to perform the analytics by using Python. So this unit, the first unit, will make you equipped with the skill set which are required in coming up the units, that is for performing analytics using Python. Am I clear with this up to this point, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Any query,
Yes.
any question regarding any of the content or element or section of this first unit?
We are following. Thank you.
Yeah. So this second unit is about Python advanced concepts. So in the first unit, we have covered the basic concepts of Python, and the second unit will extend the first unit, where we are going to learn about the advanced concepts of Python, like images, how to play with images, how to handle images, classes, tilde images, acceleration and friction, spacemanship class, sprite class, sets, group of sprites, collisions, sprite animation. So here we are dealing with the advanced concepts of Python. And again, at the end of this unit, you will find that how we are working, how to work with RDBMS and UML. So how to connect your application with the database. So in the first unit, you can see that we have we are going to learn about the file handling. So how to store the data in file handling. But now in the second unit, we are going to learn about how to store the data in database. So now why database? Why RDBMS? If I can store the data into files, then why I need to store, why I need to learn about the database? Again, there are some reasons. Without reason, no concept could have invented. No invention is possible without reason, without need. So in the same way, since file handling has many problems, has many demerits. So for example, file handling creates redundancy of data. File, if I have to make a change in a file, I need to make change in multiple places, that is insertion anomalies, deletion anomalies. So there are many problems in storing the data in files, isn't it? And again, I cannot query the data from a file. If I want to have the record of a particular student, and if that data is stored in files, then I cannot extract the record of a particular student. I cannot query a file. But on the contrary, if I have used the database, if I have used the RDBMS, I can very much query the data from RDBMS by using the SQL query language. So these are the advantages of using RDBMS. Again, multiple people cannot work on a single file at a time. But in case of RDBMS, multiple people can work on single database at a time. How it is possible? It is possible that it gives the mirror image of the database to each of the users. When all the users, or when the user has done with the working with that file, with that database, the what the system will do, the system will update the entire database, which is centrally located. So in this way, even though multiple people are working on the multiple versions of the same database, at the end, the update is been made into the central database. So this is again one of the striking advantage of using a database, or we can say RDBMS, that multiple persons can work on single database. On the contrary, multiple persons cannot work on single file. We need to create multiple versions of file. So here, in case of RDBMS, it creates multiple mirror versions. Mirror means what? They are not the physical actual database. We are getting only the mirror image. So on that mirror image, we are working in case of RDBMS. So again, these are the advantages of working with database or working with RDBMS that we are going to learn in unit number 2, that is the Python advanced concept. So here the first this second unit is entirely built, the entirely extended of the first unit, that is Python fundamentals for data analytics. So this is about the second unit, that is Python advanced concepts. The third unit is Python libraries. So again, now we are coming to the Python libraries. Say for example, we are going to learn the NumPy. What is NumPy? NumPy is a numerical Python library which is basically used to perform or to use the multi-dimensional arrays. If you want to work with multi-dimensional arrays, then I need to import the NumPy. NumPy is a library, that is numerical Python, which has built-in functions to work to create the n multidimensional arrays, to process the multidimensional arrays. So all the functions which are required to work with the multidimensional arrays are being given in NumPy. So we need to learn NumPy. What are the common scientific uh, uh, computation libraries which are present in NumPy? Getting familiar with pandas. Pandas is what? Pandas is again a library which is been built on the top of NumPy. So when you are importing NumPy, then we don't need to import the NumPy. If you are working with pandas, then again, if you have imported the pandas library in your program, then I don't need to import NumPy. Why? Because pandas are built on the top of NumPy. So when you import pandas, automatically all the libraries, all the built-in functions are being imported through pandas in your program. So here we are going to cover about first, that is NumPy, and again after that we are going to learn about pandas for how to perform data processing, that is structural data processing. And we learn some of the common statistical data analysis techniques in Python. Uh, say for example, we are getting familiar with linear algorithms or simple linear regression. So this is about the chapter number 3, that is in that which is specifically allocated to Python libraries like NumPy, like pandas, and we are going to use some of the statistical tools, and we are going to learn, getting familiar with simple linear regression as well. The fourth unit is about introduction to data understanding and pre-processing. What do you mean by data pre-processing? Can anyone have any idea about data pre-processing? Guys, what do you mean by pre-processing? Is my voice is breaking? Am I not clear? Could you please use the board to teach us going forward? This is like PDF reading. I am having trouble understanding. See that whoever this 2174718. See, I haven't started teaching as yet. Like I said that I'm just discussing the syllabus. This is not I'm teaching. I'm going to start teaching from the next session onwards. Am I clear with this? 2174718. As you have asked, could you please use the board to teach us going forward? Yes, I'm going to use the PPT. I'm going to use the compiler wherever necessary in order to practically demonstrate the concepts. So don't worry about that. This is only syllabus discussion, isn't it? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, what again? Data processing means cleaning any noise from the data. Yes. Activities done before processing of data. Correct. Series of steps to get data ready. Yes. For processing, for example, data cleaning. Yes. Okay. So basically, pre-processing means what? Pre-processing means making the data ready for analysis. So why there is a need to pre-process? See that when you have the data, when you have the data set, there are many possible things, like you may have some values missing. There is some gap in the data. Some cells are empty. Some values are out of range, isn't it? I need to insert some more features into this data set. I need to enhance, I need to enrich this data set. So there can be many reasons why I need to pre-process the data. So before you start analyzing the data, before you start developing the algorithm, before you start applying the statistical methods on your data set, your data must be clean, your data set must be accurate, your data set must be consistent in all respect. Then only you can get the accurate results, then only you can extract the accurate insights from that data set. So that's why very first thing that we should do in analytics is data pre-processing, because everything is dependent on your data set. If your data set is good enough in terms of quality, it don't have outliers, it doesn't have the missing values, it doesn't have the empty cells, it doesn't have the data which is out of range, then only we can perform the analytics, and that analytics will give you the accurate results. Otherwise, if your data is inconsistent, there are missing values, if you haven't handled the outliers, then the result which would have come out with analysis would be misleading. So that's why we need to understand pre-processing, and we need to understand the data. So the knowledge of domain of data analysis, understanding structured and unstructured data is also very important. So there are two categories of data. One is called as structured, one is unstructured. What do you mean by structured data? Can you give me any example of structured data, guys? What is structured data and what is unstructured data? Can you give me with example? These are common things. I think these are not technical one. Even a non-technical person can understand what is structured and what is unstructured and what is semi-structured data. Yeah, anyone can please?
Structured data can be a phone number or maybe name, a phone number mostly. Like it has a particular structure or an order.
Okay. Can you give me some other example of structured data?
Yeah, structured data is like data which we stored in the table.
Yes, that's it. You are hitting the nail. Like a structured data is always presented in matrix or in tables. A structured data is organized by having some format, isn't it? So, for example, the data which is stored in tables, the data which is stored in databases. For example, the sales report. Yeah, for example, the sales report. For example, the student mark sheet, the student ledger. All these are structured. Why? Because it is presented, it is organized in a particular order. So whether a data is structured, whether it is unstructured, whether it is semi-structured. How we can identify? We can identify the way it is been stored, the way it is been organized, the way it is been handled. So on these basis, we can classify the data as structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. So the example of structured data is your spreadsheet, isn't it? So the data which is in your Excel sheet is a structured data. Unstructured means what? Which does not follow a structure, which does not have a format. For example, your emails. Emails are unstructured. Your image data is unstructured. Your voice data is unstructured, isn't it? So unstructured doesn't have any format, any rigid format.
Excuse me, sir.
But yes,
How an image can be an unstructured? Because images can be represented via matrix.
but that doesn't have a format, na? But that doesn't have a rigid format, isn't it?
Isn't it
See
have
that
like
the
when
format
we
of
use
different images, the format of different images is different. There is no fixed format for that.
but when we have like JPG or PNG images,
Mhm.
they do have a format.
Yeah, they do
Like
have format, but see that if you take the image of different persons, that can be represented differently, isn't it? So
uh,
voice, your image data, voice data, your emails data comes under unstructured data. And if I have to talk about the semi-structured, semi-structured data falls in between structured and unstructured. Means what? They have a format, but they does not comply a rigid format. For example, XML file. For example, the data which is presented in a JSON format, that is JavaScript notation format, they comes under the category of semi-structured. XML file, JSON file, they comes under unstructured data. So these are different types of files, that is structured, unstructured, and semi-structured. We can classify them on the basis of their organization, how they are organized, how they are stored, and how we can process them. So depending on this, we can classify whether it is structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. We will learn these things in a detailed manner when this particular chapter comes in our sessions. So this is all about the introduction to data understanding and pre-processing. Where we are going to learn about the knowledge of domains of data analysis, like structured, unstructured, semi-structured. What is a data analysis process? What are the different stages in that? Then how to import the data set, how to export the data, basic insights from the data sets, how to extract the insight from the data set, how to clean, how to perform the cleaning, how to make your data prepared for the analysis, how to identify and handle the missing values, or how to handle the outliers as well. So here basically we are going to learn about the data, how to what you can say, how to make our data prepared fully for data analysis. Like like I said, cleaning, it can comes under cleaning, shaping, merging, uh, getting the data from different resources, from internal and external, and combining them into a single file, finding out the missing values, finding out the outliers, how to deal with them. If you find the missing values in the data set, how I can fill those things. Either I can remove that cell or that row, or I can fill it with some other values. So if I have to fill with some other values, what are the methods? What are the solution? Like, so for example, there are imputing methods. I can impute by using mean, mode, median. I can input the missing values by using the fill forward and fill backward values as well. So these are different methods of filling up the gaps. And again, I need to find out the outliers. Outliers are very important to detect. If you do not detect, if you do not identify the outliers, then the insights, then the prediction that you extract from your data set may be misleading. Outliers are the exception data values which does not fit into your entire data. So when you compare your data with that particular value, you will find that that value does not fit, does not belong to that range. But how to identify? Again, there are methods. So by using those methods, so for example, Z-score method, I can find out the outlier. And once you find the outlier, how to deal with that, how to give a proper treatment. And again, there are some methods to treat the outliers, isn't it? So all these things are going to be covered in chapter number 4, that is understanding and preparing your data, which is called as pre-processing. The next unit is data processing and visualization. So once you have prepared your data, the next thing is to visualize your data. Visualization will give you more insights from your data, will enable you to understand the data more. It will enable you to find out the patterns from your data. So for visualization, again, there are different tools that I can use. For example, I can use the graphical tools and plotting tools as well. For example, the heat maps I can use. For example, different charts I can use. So there are different tools which can be used to visualize your data in terms of charts and graphs. So that is going to be covered in unit number 5, that is the data processing and visualization, where we will understand data formatting, exploratory data analysis. We are exploring the data so that we can identify the patterns, the trends, the missing, the hidden insights from the data set. Then the chapter number 6 is all about the mathematical and scientific applications for data analysis. So in this unit, as you can see that all the functions which are related with the NumPy and SciPy packages are going to be covered. How to create n-dimensional arrays, how to perform indexing, how to perform slicing, Boolean indexing, fancy indexing, universal functions, data processing using arrays, file input and output with arrays. So here, basically, we are working with the NumPy and SciPy packages. So by using these NumPy and SciPy, we are going to create the n-dimensional arrays, and we are going to learn about how to index, how to slice, and what are the different types of indexing that I can do on the data set by using the NumPy libraries. And again, in the end of this unit, we are going to perform how to give file input and output with arrays. Means what? If I have to write the content of my array into a file, then how I can do that. So that is also going to be covered in unit number 6, that is mathematical and scientific applications for data analysis by using NumPy and SciPy libraries. Then the unit number 7 will talk about the analyzing the web data. For example, data wrangling, data scraping, combining and merging the data sets, reshaping and pivoting, data transformation, string manipulation, and case study for web scraping. So basically, in this unit number 7, we are going to learn about data wrangling. What do you mean by data wrangling? Data wrangling is nothing but taking the raw data and making them prepared it for data analysis. Again, in data wrangling is also called as data munging. In data wrangling, there are many activities which can be which can be performed, like cleaning the data, reshaping the data, extracting the data from multiple sources and combining them into a single source, grouping the data. So all these things, all these tasks comes under the concept of data wrangling. So again, that we are going to learn in unit number 7. Now, the most analytic part of this subject will start from unit number 8. As you can see, the content of unit number 8, 9 are completely devoted, completely allocated for data analysis. How to perform data analysis and what are the basic nomenclature of analytical process model that we are going to learn from unit number 8 to unit number 9. In unit number 8, we are going to learn as the basics of analytics, and in unit number 9 we are going to learn the advanced concepts of analytics, that is analytics part 2, unit 9. So in unit 8 we are going to understand the basic nomenclature of analytical process model. Like I said, that what is the analytical process model? Analytical process model is a template, is a framework that guides us as a programmer or as an analysis in order to perform the analysis on my data, how to apply the statistical methods on the data set. What are the different phases of analytical process model? Like I said, that it covers, an analytical process covers from the very first step of defining the business problem to finding out the solution to that business problem. So all these stages which are intermediate from defining the business problem to finding out the business solution, all these steps are going to be covered in analytical process model, that is unit number 8. Then in unit number 9 we are going to learn about the predictive analysis. Predictive analysis is an advanced format of analytics. Predictive analytics is used to predict the future events. So here we are going to learn about the different algorithms, that is linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, neural networks, SVM, that is support vector machine, and ensemble methods, multi-class classification techniques, and evaluating the predictive model at the end. So as you can see that the unit number 9 is the advanced, it covers the advanced concepts of analytics. Then we have the last unit, unit number 10. In that we are going to learn about the social networking. Social networking will also play a very important role in the entire analytical process. So in a social network, we are going to understand how the social network works, how the individuals, the organizations, they are related with each other, how they interact with each other, what is the impact of this social network. So all these things that we are going to cover in social networking. Like social networking is also called as a network, that is also called as the study of networks. So basically here we are going to learn about how the individuals, how the organization will interact with each other. And social networking is always or sometimes is represented in terms of maps, in terms of graphs, isn't it? So here the entities can be the person, entities can be the organization, they are called as nodes, and the edges, they are called as the links between these nodes. Like I said, that the social network is represented in terms of maps. So here we are going to learn about the social network analytics, how to perform social analytics. What is the importance? It may be for the reason of finding out the sentiment analysis. So sentiment analysis is the application of social networking. So there are many applications which comes under social networking. So that we are going to learn in unit number 10, and in that we are going to learn about the relational neighbor classifier, probabilistic relational neighbor classifier, relational logistic regression, collective inferences, benchmarking, data quality, software privacy, all these things are going to be covered, which are related to social networking, are going to be covered in unit number 10. And now the last unit is value addition. So in this value addition, we are going to learn about machine learning concepts. What is machine learning? What are the different types of machine learning? What are the applications of machine learning? So that concludes our entire syllabus. So I hope that I have explained the syllabus of this subject, and wherever I need necessary, I have explained the concepts. So before I could end this session, I'm just giving a feedback form in the chat box, and I request all the learners to please give your feedback by filling this Google form. Give me a minute, be in the session. So here I am giving the link for the feedback form. Sir, can you please share the syllabus PDF here? Okay, I will share it. Is the link is visible to all of you guys? The feedback link?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I will share the syllabus in the WhatsApp group. So please, how do we access the teaching material, and what software tools should we install for practical aspect of the tutorials? I think this question is asked by Ampa. Ampa, see that we are going to use the online compilers. Nowadays, you don't need to install any software on your computer. For example, if I have to run the Python code, I can use the Google Colab. Google Colab. Just go to the Chrome and type Google Colab. It will open you the notepad for Python. So in that we can execute the code runtimely online, and we can done all our practicals on that. So we don't need to, particularly we don't need to install any software. I will show you how to execute the sample code, or how to execute the concepts while I am conducting the sessions. So don't worry about that. You don't need to, as such, you don't need to install any softwares. But if required, definitely I will tell you at that time. But for time being, you don't need to install. We can use online softwares. We can use the online compilers. Like I said, that you can use the Colab, Google Colab. Okay, so shall I? Okay, I will just show you as a sample. Just give me a minute, be in the session. I will show you just how we can use the Colab. Okay. So just go to the Chrome and say Google Colab. Type Google Colab in the Chrome address. Is it visible, guys? Is my Chrome web browser is visible? Is it visible?
Yes, it's yeah, it's visible.
Yeah, now you can see that here I have typed the Google Colab.
It's
So
visible.
just click on to the first tab that you have seen here. That is first link. Welcome to Collaboratory. So here I have already done that. So that's why it has been come here. So you can say here untitled IPYNB. That is the extension for Python file. So here now it has opened the untitled notebook for me. It is opening, guys. So here I have already done some work here. But if you want to execute some code, what we can do here, go to the insert and say code cell. So just write a code cell here. So for example, I want to print hello message to everyone. Say print in the bracket, say hello everyone. And just click on the run button. So it is compiling. Yeah, can you see the output here? Guys, can you see the output?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
in the
sir.
same
Yes,
way
sir.
here, in the same way, just go to the insert and say
Yes.
and you can
You
write
go
the
insert and say code cell.
yes.
Okay. Import the time module. The time.
Yeah, I have just written this code. Okay. So in that way we can write the code and we can execute it online. We don't need to insert, we don't need to install any particular software as such.
Okay.
Is it clear, guys?
Google.com.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
with this, we conclude this session here. I thank you all for joining
me,
this
sir.
session.
Hello.
Yes, yes.
In which WhatsApp group you are going to share this syllabus? Because we
Uh,
don't have one for this.
Okay, in the
Yeah,
mentors group,
same.
can I share? Mentors group.
Here.
Okay, wait. I will share it in the chat box. Just give me a minute. I will share it here only. So you don't need
In the
to.
chat box.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will do that. Give me a minute.
Sir, I had a query.
Yes.
Sir, will the lecture recording be available?
Yeah, of course it is available. It is available in the Swayam, but it requires 24 hours to get uploaded in the Swayam platform.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
definitely it is going to available.
Sir, do we require pandas or other software related to Python?
No. You don't need to see, like I have demonstrated you that you just need to go here where this one Google Colab, and as you can see that here in the cell I have written the code like see here hash import import pandas, import time. As can you see the code here?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, you just need to import. You just need to write like this one import. See here, import numpy as np. That's it. The library has been automatically imported to this cell. So now I can perform all the operations, all the functions which are given under numpy with np.
Okay, got it, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So I will show you the code. So don't worry about that. When we are going to learn about the first unit, I'm going to explain, practically demonstrate the concepts wherever it is required practical aspect. So don't worry about that. So I think all of you have given your feedback in the by filling up the Google form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
guys,
We are waiting for the syllabus PDF.
Yeah. Even I have given that syllabus. Is it visible to guys, everyone? Syllabus. Is that syllabus is visible to all of you? PDF file?
No, sir.
It is not. Okay,
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, wait. For everyone, I have to say everyone. Okay. I think now it is visible to everyone. Syllabus OMB AIML 303.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
This is
Yes,
same for
yes.
OMB AIML 303 and OM BBA 305.
Sir.
Yes.
Hello. In feedback form of there is a question art. Select the scores to submit a form. Basic of artificial intelligence and machine learning. 301 and 302 machine learning. So which one we have to choose?
You are for which group? You are for machine learning or for business analytics?
Business analytics.
So you can select OMBBA 305.
305 business intelligence.
Yeah, and the students who belong to the course that is machine learning, they can select OMB AIML 303.
But sir, when we get a form to select the specialization, we get only one option, AI and machine learning, and there is one more option to select from digital
That
business
is
English
same.
and
No, it is same. It is same. So even if
it
it
is
is
same.
showing only one, you can select OMB AIML 303.
Okay.
The course is same for two this one streams. That is for this one machine learning and for business analytics.
Sir, for OMBBA 305 file is not existing in chat box.
File you're talking about the feedback?
No, the syllabus file.
Syllabus file.
Only OM
Yeah, the syllabus.
AIML.
See, yes. The syllabus is same. Like I'm saying that the syllabus is same for OMB AIML 303 and OMBBA 305.
Okay, sir, got it.
Yeah, this is the same syllabus for two courses.
Yeah.
Okay. So shall I terminate here? Conclude the session?
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
waiting for the WhatsApp.
Thank you everyone for joining the session.
Yeah,
So
thank you, sir.
Sir, before you terminate, we are still waiting for the WhatsApp group. WhatsApp group.
Yeah, if anybody have any WhatsApp links, could you please share on